Is that lack of coordination, though? When a lot of kids at that age are growing. I remember when my boys were growing, and they used to be really good sprinters. One of them shot up that much at that age. He couldn't run anymore. Yeah. He was like, his body had not caught up, you know what I mean? His reflexes and everything that goes with it. Well, so, yeah, the coordination was lacking.
Yeah, I mean, the bodies are changing at that age all the way through, but then, you know, it's when do they stop changing? And each kid is different as well. So when he says under 12s, I understand why he's saying that, and like he said, he's not the one making those decisions. He's just listening to some of the options and some of the ideas that have been put forward. It's a serious subject. Kids go back to school this week, and some of your kids will be playing rugby at school, and it'll be a concern for parents because they're not there. They don't see what goes on. They've got to trust in the teachers, but the teachers know because there is an issue with concussion, right? The research is ongoing. So far it's inconclusive, needs to be more extensive, needs to be more detailed. That detail needs to be out there. That will happen in time. But if a player gets a knock on the head, is it concussion? How do we know? How long should they be rested for if it is concussion? Should kids even be playing rugby while their bodies are still growing? Tackling's a big problem, as we said. Scrummaging in union is a big problem as well. But nothing has been proven yet. But I'll point to a piece in the Times today, the chief rugby correspondent, Owen Slott. And I'll just read a very tiny sentence from the piece that he's written. It's an excellent piece. He says, rugby is a game that needs confidence, reassurance, proof that the game is not a health risk. Now, any responsible parent, any parent will be looking at that and thinking, hang on a minute, is rugby a health risk? And we don't know the answer to that question yet. And yet, some of us are sending our kids to school with possibly playing rugby, encouraging them to play rugby, to play as well as they can, to see if they can get in the school team, see if they can play well for the school team, maybe even play for the county. And yet here we're having a debate about whether or not rugby is a health risk. Yet we're letting our kids play it. We don't know the answer to that question yet. It seems incredible that we're doing that.
But they've done it for years and years. Rugby's been around for years. I remember doing it at school. I think in private school it's more of an issue. I think because, well, especially when my kids were there, you had to play rugby on a Saturday. So whether you were in the first, second, third or fourth team, because that was just the way the school was. Everybody had to play rugby, so you were in one of the sides. And I remember the day they went there, and the coaches and the school teachers get 2 days to pick the sides. So they don't know who's the best. They kind of get an idea just from watching them in sports for the first 2 days. Then they pick a team from that, A, B, C and D team, whatever. So you might have someone who's really should be in the C team who ends up in the A team. And it destroys him for the rest of the year because there's some really good players at that level. Private school level, there's some ridiculously talented rugby players. And because of the physicality of it, some are different sizes to others, which I think makes a massive, massive difference.
Yep.
But the respect and the camaraderie from rugby that rugby brings, that I can see why people love it. I used to enjoy it. But then there is other kids who actually will be dreading going back to school, knowing they've got to play rugby. They've got to play rugby because that's the way it's done.
Yeah.
One of the things I believe it is, but as well, these caps they wear now for rugby, everybody should wear them. It's only vanity that you won't wear them. It's same as skiing. The guys who don't wear a cap now, an helmet for skiing, it's vanity.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Well, interesting you say, because Gareth Dean tweeted me earlier on this. He says, I coach under-9s rugby league. It's parents' discretion to wear headguards. We do, however, remove any kids from a game if any knock to the head has occurred, which is great from their point of view. So the
kids won't wear them. If it's a choice for the kid to wear the headguard, the boy will say no.
Well, it shouldn't be a choice.
But it is vanity. Yeah. I remember with mine, if I would have said it to mine, and I'd have said to him, do you want a headguard? Because they used to wear them, some of the guys. My boys both said no. And it is pure vanity.
Yeah.
Same as when you go skiing, the ones who don't wear an helmet now. It's such a dangerous sport. If you fall down going at 50, 60 miles an hour with no helmet on, there's a serious danger there.
Scoff says, I think scrum hats are a must until under 15s level. At that age, they'll be able to make their own mind up. But will we have the right information? I mean, we're actually stepping back from that argument where we're saying we don't know. You know, the Times chief rugby correspondent is saying we don't know if the game of rugby is a health risk or not. And yet, our kids are going to school and possibly playing rugby when we don't even have the right information. So where do we go with it? I mean, if the research comes back and says rugby is a health risk, what are we going to do? Just stop playing rugby?
Well, what we're going to say then, so our kids now, because if you're in the workplace, You can refuse to do something because of the Health and Safety Act in the workplace, right?
Yeah.
You can't you? If you get asked to do something at work which has got an health and safety risk, it's not been done the proper due diligence on it.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
can say, I'm not doing it. It's not safe.
It's incredible.
How long before adults are sending their kids to school with a letter saying, there's no proof that this is safe or whatever, it's Health and Safety Act, I'm pulling my kids out of rugby?
Could happen. Could be happening as we speak. Josh wants to talk about the rugby's in Merseyside. How you doing, Josh?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. What do you want to say?
Yeah, basically, I just want to say that I don't believe the kids at Hall are putting themselves in risk. Yeah, rugby is a sport where you're going to have head clashes. I think it's more down to the actual coaches themselves. We shouldn't remove tackling. We should be putting more coaching into the right technique of how we're going in. You're going to have head injuries, you're going to have head clashes, and I do think having head guards on is extremely important. I think it should be, you're not going to be a race driver and have a helmet on just because there's a slight risk that you're going to get hit. Whereas in rugby, you are going to hit your head, but it's all about the right technique and having that extra support to support it. In football, you head the ball, you're going to have that head risk. It's all about the technique and not just throwing a kid and say, right, go and tackle him. It's about how you do it, how you come out with the tackle and everything involved in it.
I think it's a great point, Josh, and I'll point to the article again in the Times where he quotes Ross Tucker. That he's the sports scientist. He's worked with World Rugby on all the research that's ongoing.
Little children, you better not tell on me. I'm telling you, little children, you better not tell what you see.